Hey, what's up everybody? This is Daniel here coming in with a new video. Today I wanted to talk about a little test run I've been doing the last week, and that I plan to do through the end of the month of November, probably going into December a little bit. So I'm trying some alternate day fasting. And the reason why I'm doing some alternate day fasting is that I wanted to give myself a little bit of a kick start and see if I could kind of accelerate my weight loss a little bit. So I've talked about it before. I've been doing keto since May, intermittent fasting since, probably the beginning of June or something like that, not too long after I started keto. And I've been doing a bunch of different forms of fasting. Sorry, I'm going to be looking at my computer kind of back and forth here. I've got some notes here that I want to go through. But so I've been doing different forms of intermittent fasting. I started out with a 16-8, I went to 18-6. Mostly been doing some OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, as well as just kind of shifting back and forth from there. I've basically been doing intermittent fasting every single day. There hasn't been too many days where I had like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's just mostly because I'm not hungry in the mornings anyways, so why am I going to force myself to eat? And then on those days where I do OMAD, or 1 meal a day, those are the days I've really been focusing on fasting, and I've had some great results. But I have kind of, at the beginning of my weight loss, I really went down fast, which is normal on diets. But from there, I wanted to lose between 1 and 2 pounds a week. And in the last probably 6 weeks to 2 months, I've really only been losing like a quarter of a pound and half a pound every week, which is not terrible, but I did, I want to go just a little bit faster, nothing too crazy, but I wanted to reach 180 by Christmas was my goal. So I started this alternate day fasting plan on November 1st, which was a Sunday, which that just kind of lined up nice. And I'm just going to kind of track week by week my results from alternate day fasting. And I really, this is just an experiment to see if it helped me kickstart my weight loss. I wasn't, I didn't go into it expecting anything. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of fasting already, so I wasn't sure if this would do anything. But it's just something to try. Like I said, I've been doing intermittent fasting, and I've done some days where I've done over 36-hour fasts. I haven't done anything more than that so far. So that's my experience. I think that's going to make it a lot easier for me to jump into alternate day fasting and doing it. And in fact, after this first week, I can confidently say it was not very difficult for me because I've already been doing so much fasting. But let me just talk about my experience. So another name for the alternate day fasting I'm doing is a 4-3 fast, where for 4 days of the week I'm eating, and for 3 of the days I am fasting. So my fasting days are going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That fits a lot easier for my schedule. Saturday and Sunday, we tend to do date nights with my wife, or we're hanging out with our family or something like that, especially on Sundays. So it's very difficult for me to do any fasting on Sundays. And Saturdays as well. Saturdays would probably be a little bit easier, but really just the way that my life is, and probably a lot of you out there, Saturday and Sunday, I just don't want to be bothered with having to tell people that I'm fasting or whatever, I can't eat. I want to let myself have some freedom on those days to do, just have plans and things like that. And even on Fridays, sometimes we have plans and things with friends. So I'll touch on what I do for those days. So first off, what was my starting weight? Sunday, I weighed in at 190.2 pounds, which is my starting weight at all of this with keto and intermittent fasting. Everything was around 230 pounds. So I've already lost 40 pounds. But again, my first goal was to get to 180 by Christmas. Just by looking at my body and the way that I feel, like how much fat I still have on me, I'm thinking I might need to drop that to 170 or even lower than that, just depending on how I'm looking, how lean I'm looking when I'm 180 pounds. So starting weight, 192 or 190.2 pounds. That was my Sunday weigh-in. So my first fast was Monday, November 2nd. What I did on that day was I started out, and I'm going to do this every single day that I fast. I'm going to start with some coffee with a little bit of heavy cream. And I know some people say that that's not actually fasting, but it's like 50 calories maybe. You know, I'm not measuring out exactly like 1 tablespoon. You know, I don't feel like getting out all my stuff for that. I'm just going to pour a little bit of heavy cream. I'm guessing it's between 1 and 2 tablespoons of heavy cream that I am adding. So that's going to be between 50 and maybe 100 calories. And that's it. That's all that I'm going to be doing on my fasting days. And there are going to be some fasting days where I need to eat a little bit, and I'll talk about that. That happened on Friday. On Monday, I did the coffee in the morning with the heavy cream, and then later on I decided to do some salt to get some sodium, and then I did magnesium and a multivitamin. And I found that really just like, especially with the salt, what I do with salt to get my sodium is that I'll actually mix it into some water and drink it. And lately that's been a real challenge for me. Like I almost vomited this time doing that. So I'm probably just gonna avoid doing salt on sodium on those days. I'll probably do on my actual eating days, my feeding days, I'll take those vitamins and supplements, and that will hopefully help me get through that next day a little bit better. On Tuesday, which was my first refeed day, I broke the fast with bone broth and a little bit of rotisserie chicken in that. So, like I said, my body is pretty used to doing at least like 24-hour fasts. So this is gonna be the days that I break my fast. It'll be between like 36 and 48-hour fasts. So I want to be careful enough, like ease my stomach a little bit back into it, but I don't think I have to do anything too crazy. So I did some bone broth and some chicken to break the fast. And then like hour-ish later, that's when I start to eat normal for the rest of the day. And again, I'm eating a ketogenic diet with pretty heavily leaning toward more of a carnivore diet. That's just the way that I feel best usually. Wednesday, I fasted again, and this is where I was starting to get some abdominal pains, really in the stomach area. It wasn't my intestinal area, it was my stomach, and they're just kind of strange pains, and I have had them before while fasting, and it just gets like your stomach just feels tight, and even when I like flex my stomach or flex my abs, the pain would get worse. And it lasted for maybe a couple hours and it faded away. I'll keep an eye on that. I haven't had it since that day, but I was, it does concern me a little bit. I don't want to hurt my body, so if that becomes a regular thing, I'll try and, I'll probably stop and see if that helps it get better and see if it's just a problem with my body with fasting. Thursday, same thing, broke my fast with the bone broth and a little bit of chicken in that, rotisserie chicken, and then just regular eating the rest of the day. And then Friday, and this is a fast day where I did consume some food. So I figured, Fridays are days where we're hanging out with people sometimes. So we had made these plans with my brother and my sister-in-law weeks prior, and we planned to have dinner, and we were going to bring dinner over for them. And I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I'm losing weight or whatever. I'm not gonna eat with you guys. I'm just gonna sit here and be awkward. So I ate, but I didn't eat anything the rest of the day. The entire day leading up to that, I didn't eat anything. And when I did eat, I really portioned it out very small. I got to make sure that I'm under 500 calories. And that's the thing about alternate day fasting. A lot of people will actually do alternate day fasting where, they eat normal one day, they fast, and they eat 500 calories that day, or between 0 and 500 calories. And that's how they get through that fasting day. I'm not going to eat if something like that doesn't happen. So, again, for social gatherings and things like that, I'm gonna eat. I don't want to be the awkward person who's not eating, but I'm gonna really limit myself and make sure that I'm not overeating and just gorging myself just because, you know, there's people there and there's the food, right? So I'm gonna eat enough for it to be, you know, I have the meal with my family or my friends or whatever, and I enjoy that time with them, but I'm also not going to, you know, I'm going to try and not compromise my experiment with my fasting. So that's the plan right there. So some Fridays, that's probably going to happen. So there you have it. That was my first week of fasting. Saturday, normal eating day. I did weigh in on Saturday. I figure that's what I'm going to do from now on, is weigh in on Saturdays. So my first Saturday weigh-in was 187.7. So I lost 2.5 pounds this week. This alternate day fasting is an experiment for this month. If I end up really liking it, I'll do it longer. But if you guys got any questions about alternate day fasting, or you want to give me any of your success stories in the comments, just let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to give you some of my feedback. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. If you did, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.